All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Think Sacred podcast. I am Zach, and today we have another guest speaker or guest interviewee. Phil's out for today, and so instead we have my mom, Rita. How you doing today, Mom?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
I had to have a bunch of dental work done, so I was not sure I was going to make it today.
Okay, all right.
My mouth is very sore, but I guess I can still talk.
Yeah, if for anybody watching that isn't used to us, what we do is we usually have kind of an open discussion and usually focus on like bigger theological and philosophical topics. Usually one of us takes up a theological view and one of us takes up a philosophical view, and then we kind of talk that way. But usually during the interviews we go a little bit more open and we just kind of ask what people's general beliefs are and things like that. We have one comment that I wanted to address real quick. So we got a comment from KTS Graham saying faith and conclusion are not the same. Faith is trusting in something not seen. Conclusion is making a prediction based, he says, one on observation of things seen in the past, right? Now
I'm going to read this for you, okay? It's KT's Graham.
KT's Graham. That's what I said. Is that not what I said?
Okay, say it. KT's Graham.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anyway.
No, you don't get it still.
No, I do. Well, for the podcast purposes, I don't address that kind of stuff. I know what you're. Yeah. Okay. So we've actually talked about this several times on the podcast. Have you heard a few of the discussions where me and Dad have talked about?
That's my comment.
That's your comment?
That's what I'm trying to say. KT's Graham. Mom.
Oh my God. That's your comment?
That is my comment.
Oh, that's your comment. I thought it was a cousin's comment.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, there we go.
It's KT's grandma.
Okay. Oh, well, great. This is great. This is right into our discussion, because my question was going to be for you, how do you define faith? See, now for me,
but you're wrong.
Wait a minute now. Hold on. We gotta have a discussion here. You can't just say you're wrong. You gotta prove to me why you're wrong.
I heard
or why I'm wrong.
Your philosophy or your discussion. That's why I commented on it.
Oh, okay.
Because you were saying faith, and you were telling somebody who made a previous comment that what he said and what you were saying was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You said that him coming to a conclusion was the same as you having faith. And I disagreed with that, because faith is believing in something you cannot see, like God.
See, but that's exactly where I would disagree, right? So I see God. When I look around at everything around me, when I look around at this world, when I see how things interact, how things move and everything like that, I see God. But that's not,
okay, you're seeing God's work. Yes, I do believe that, yes, you're seeing God, but not your faith is in what you don't see. You have faith that he's holding you in his hand. You have faith that, he's there.
So the example is
conclusion. Wait, let me finish. Conclusion is, I see a fly into that paper and get stuck there. Hold on.
Okay.
And I see another fly into that paper and get stuck there. I see a third fly into that paper and get stuck there. And I see another fly flying really close. My conclusion is, if he touches that paper, he's going to stick there. That's the conclusion. I've seen, and now I predict.
That sounds like just like a hypothesis, though.
That's what a conclusion is. Like, think about science.
No. Conclusion. No. I would say
You're wrong.
The hypothesis, because the theory of evolution, then. Then why aren't you an evolutionist?
But I am an evolution.
You're an no,
No,
you're
I'm
not.
not.
You're a creationist like me
The
and Dad.
the theory again, it's a theory. It's not.
So
But
so
they
is that
haven't.
idea that the fly is actually going to touch the paper. That's a theory. It's not a full-blown
But as
conclusion.
soon as the fly does touch the paper, it's the conclusion.
Yeah, then you're found correct for sure. But prior to it touching, it's still just a theory. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
Anyways,
think so.
so for me, so the way I describe it, and I've described this with Dad before, as we're talking about faith. Think about you have a good friend, right? A really good friend, and you know that you can rely on that friend when you call and you need help. Say your car is broken down and you need somebody to come pick you up, right, and take you to go get some groceries or something like that, right? The faith is that friend, that you can trust that friend, that if he has the means to come and help you, he's going to come and help you, and he's going to bring you to the store when you need the help. And the reason you have that is because in your day-to-day interactions with that friend, you see the type of person he is, you see who he is, you see that you guys have a bond and a friendship. So it's the same thing with God, right? So the faith is that I see the works around me, I see this world, I see how it works, and I see how God has created it, and I see God, right? And I see that. I see who he is, and I have trust in it. But I don't know the difference. Like I'm telling you
that you should know the difference.
That for me, there's not a difference.
There is a difference.
Yeah.
There is a difference because you haven't anybody who sees God only. They're like once you see God, you surely die. And doesn't
face
lay
to
his
face.
Eyes, can't see.
Yeah, face to
so,
face.
anyways, but faith would be faith is in the unseen. Don't know that you have faith that he's going to come, but that hasn't been seen yet. He hasn't been there yet. But when he does come.
But then it's the same as your flypaper analysis. Then now it's become the same as your flypaper analysis because you've seen that last fly heading towards the paper.
But it
hasn't connected yet.
I haven't seen my friend come because he's so far away.
No, you're talking about distances. I'm talking about analytically. It's the same thing, though.
No,
that point of where you're trusting that the friend is driving down the road.
Because you're trusting. That's another word. Yes, you're trusting.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting that fly is going to fly into the paper. I know that when that fly flies into the paper, it's going to stick.
I know.
But you don't know that your friend is coming.
I know that when I call on my friend, he's coming. I know.
No, you only know that when you call on God, he's going to be there. That's the only one you know for sure.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though.
But if it's a man or a person that's a friend, you don't know for sure he's coming.
That's what I'm saying, though. You can know. You can have a friend, friend that you can have that is so good of a friend that you've seen their character, who they are, and you can have faith and trust in them. That they're. I have that faith in a couple people. There are a couple people that I know.
Is one of them me? That's all I want to know.
Of course, you're my parents. I'm talking. I'm saying as a friend, though. You know what I mean?
No, because man is. We're just talking about this on something with Amy Renee. Man is fallible. Man is always has the ability to let you down. So you cannot have.
That's
faith
That's not their fault, though.
I'm not saying it's their fault.
Yeah, it's not the man's fault that so if the friend is on the way to come get me, he's called me up. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm on the way," and his car breaks down. That's not his fault.
No, I'm talking about the man's at home and he's watching a Razorback game, and he doesn't want to leave. And he's like, yeah, y'all be there.
Then that person's not my friend. Then he's not a friend. He's not a friend, and I wouldn't have anything to do with him. I'm talking about people that I know I
Okay,
can trust to come over.
but you don't know everything about your friends. You don't know about
But
what
you don't
goes
know
on.
everything about God.
I don't have to know everything about God
Okay.
because I don't.
I don't
I
have
can
to know
never.
everything about my friend.
But
I
then,
know that I can trust him to come pick me up.
yeah, you think you can until you can't
Well, then he's not my friend anymore.
anymore
And same thing with
afterwards.
God.
No, because God has let me down, and I have been very angry at God in times.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear that.
You
For
know that. You
no,
know.
no, I wasn't no, I did not know that.
I was very angry at God for a very long time.
I'm very sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Maybe
really
I've been
hard.
lucky that I haven't had a situation like that. See, I look back at all my hard times or anything like that, and I look back at them as learning lessons or times when God was trying to teach me something either about myself or
Oh,
the
I
way
do.
I should react or the way I should act or something like that, as opposed to I don't look at it like him letting me down. Like if dad like if I needed help and you or dad and I came to you for or dad for help, as parents you might know like he might be able to handle this on his own and maybe shouldn't help him at this moment, and so I'll let him do it on him by himself. You get what I'm saying? You're like, no, now I'm not going to help you with this one. You got to do it on your own. You know what I mean? And so I kind of look at it like that, if that makes sense. I don't know. Does that
Oh, I
help?
yeah, I think of that now, but when you're in the middle of it or when you're even at the end of it,
Yeah.
going through that walk, I was angry. I thought, "Dang, trusted you. You let me." No, I didn't think that.
Oh.
I didn't think he let me down. I'm just saying that I was angry that he allowed.
Mm, I got what you're saying. I got what you're yeah, for well, this goes back to that whole idea. You've heard me and Dad talk about it, where I think everybody eventually gets to heaven. I'm not saying that hell doesn't exist and that people don't go through it, but it's a learning thing. Just like that, when you were angry or when you got angry about the situation, a specific situation, right? It felt like hell, right? Did it not feel like a hellish experience?
No,
Okay, okay, all right. Okay, all right.
but
So for me, the idea is those experience are hellish, and you go through it, you learn, and you come out the other side, and you're a better person for it, and so therefore you go, and then you go on and you become a better person.
but you can still be angry at someone or at God and still love him.
Yeah, yes, that would be right. Yeah, I can see that.
I've been angry at you sometimes and I still love you.
You've been angry at me? I've never been angry at you. No, no, I'm joking. No, I'm sure there has been times when I was a teenager and everything like that. It took me a long time growing up to kind of come to terms with the way that you and Dad are. And me and Amy have talked about this. We're so grateful for like you guys. Like we're like you guys were absolutely the best parents, but there were a lot of things that you guys did that looking back, well, hopefully we don't do the same thing with our kids.
But I remember one rule, and I always thought was the best rule I ever implemented was if you did something to one of your siblings, you had to repay that sibling by doing either their chore or by
Oh,
doing something for them. I don't know if you remember that.
that's a good one. I do like that one. That's a good one.
Because I thought, just punishing you, not just you, when I say you, I mean you or both your sisters, just punishing you, putting you in timeout or doing something like that, had a punishment, but it wasn't there was no heartfelt apology. So if
Mm.
you had to go in and do maybe clean your sister's room or straighten up her books or do whatever not what she wanted,
Yeah, yeah.
but do something for her, it was more of a thought process, and especially with Amy and Adina. Um, you don't remember that?
No, but
No.
that's great. That's actually really, really good, and that might actually explain why I do some of the things I do, because I do feel like when I have wronged somebody, if I have, I do feel like I gotta make it up by actively doing something in return. So that's really good. That was a good one. It's funny because I was driving on the way home here and I was remembering like one of the ones that I didn't like. I had gotten in trouble for my first kiss, and it was not my fault. I was
You still bring that up.
it's one of my first memories that is actively in my mind,
You
and
you
it's
were
so
all of
upsetting.
Yeah, and maybe I handled it wrong, but the whole thing was you got in trouble not for the kiss, but for the fighting part.
No, that was a different time.
No, it was you told me what happened was that the girl kissed you on the cheek,
Uh-huh.
and then the next day the brother was pushing on you or wanting to fight you, and you hit him back.
But I got yeah. The reason we got in a fight is because he ran up to you and he told you that I had gotten a kiss from the girl.
No, that's not what I
And
remember.
then the girl, I remember it very distinctly. And so he told you, and I got in trouble immediately. Then the next day we fought, me and him, because I had gotten in trouble.
Because you guys, it was on the bus. So how would he run up to me immediately?
Yeah, we both ran off the bus at the same time, and
No,
you're
because
we were waiting to pick us up.
The only people that got off the bus was you and the neighbors. And
Yeah, exactly.
And so it wasn't
It was
one
Caleb.
of them.
Yeah, it was Caleb that I
No.
fought with.
That was a different incident. Caleb was a different incident. It was a few weeks or time later, but Caleb didn't have a sister.
It has nothing to do with a sister. She was a single child. Her name was Teal. She had no brothers.
Her brother fought with you on the bus. That's what you got in trouble with, was fighting with him on the bus. And then a few days later, Caleb came up and you and Caleb got in a fight. Caleb's fight was over he got in trouble. You didn't get in trouble for that one because Caleb, he wouldn't get in the car. He was mad. He didn't even tell me anything. But he had taken your papers and thrown them, and you called him a jerk, and he hit you. And he considered that self-defense because his parents had told him he could fight in self-defense. And I had told you could never fight.
Yeah,
I had told you you could
your story
never fight.
Isn't even close to my memory. Isn't
Well,
even close. Like I said,
we change our memories.
Yeah.
From when you're young, you don't remember correctly. As adults, remember.
As adults,
more.
your memory stays the same.
So,
okay, you're right. I've learned that for reals.
But Caleb, I mean, for you and Caleb, I was mad at his parents because that was like the third or fourth fight he had been in that year, and he kept on saying he was defending himself, and they came over our house kind of mad, thinking that Caleb was defending himself. And then so I forget the mom's name. They were really nice though. But anyway, so she walked you guys, okay, you did this. Okay, then what did you do? What did you do? And then you called him a jerk, and he punched you. And he was littler than you, so you did not hit him back.
Okay, yeah. I do remember he was littler than me. Yeah.
Just a year, I think. It was like you guys were, Chaz, you, Caleb.
Yeah. No, the teal incident. It's my first memory. It's my first memory. My first memory is.
But it wasn't even Teal.
That's her name. Her name is Teal. I know it. I know her name is Teal. I know her name is Teal. And
you might have got. It's not like you got.
I got 2 weeks grounded for 2 weeks.
No, you didn't.
I got grounded for 2 weeks.
Your grounding was like you couldn't color.
I'm sure. Oh, actually, I'm sure you did let us off early. There were a lot of times you did let us off early from our groundings. I'll definitely.
So I probably told you were grounded for 2 weeks, and you probably got in trouble for a day.
Yeah.
I'll
agree
like
to that one.
after I got all the information. But most of the time, it's easier to come down hard and then let you off than not to.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's hard. It's harder to escalate. I've found out that with the parent too. It's like when James does something wrong, I gotta be on it kind of quick, and I gotta make sure that it's at a appropriate enough level. Like the other day, he was eating on the couch, and he had those crackers, and he was just making a mess all over the place, and I was instantly like, James, what are you doing? Like, you know better than that. You know what I mean? Eat over your plate. You know what I mean? And I made him go get a vacuum and vacuum it up.
You see, perfect punishment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like the it should be a foreseeable consequence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
you don't take care, like one thing is, kids like this when I was at the day,
Yeah.
kids like the races,
Yeah.
and so if you explain to them, we can only buy one of these packages a month.
Uh-huh.
And if they take them and they don't take care of them, they leave them under the couch, whatever. If they don't have them anymore, then that's a foreseeable consequence. And they have to wait till the next month to get a new ones, right?
Makes sense.
It doesn't matter who did it.
Yeah.
It's a foreseeable consequence that if you don't take care of it, you're not gonna have.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Now, funny you say all that. And now I say, so is that how God treats us, right? If we're God's children, right? When we are going through a hard time, once again, is that God appropriately punishing us for us being, whatever, hard-headed or
God deals out his mercy. So even though we get away with stuff sometimes,
uh-huh.
at some point, it's going to, we're going to be judged for it. We might think
Yeah.
we stole that chicken, when we were 6. If I stole it just because I kill it and torture it versus needed to feed family, I'm sure God's just. But I do think that God does let sometimes says, what doesn't it them over to his I turned them over to their DVC
Oh, yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
something like
let
that.
them do
So
their
he
thing.
just lets the product happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once again, that's what happens sometimes with kids as well. Is you let them do their own thing as a parent, right? You let them out into the world, and if they end up getting in trouble, it's on them at a certain point in time, right? And so that's the same thing with,
But
I would think,
it's
with God.
hard. Well, I don't think that all the time it's on them. I think our society is so bad right now that we're always bailing our kids out. Like we don't want them to suffer even a little bit of pain, and I think that's why we're in the mess that we are in because
That's a good point.
kids at a young age have learned that their parents are going to be there to bail them out or to defend them when they're wrong. And I've seen that
Oh
many
yeah,
times
yeah.
on
That's
TV.
a good point.
So it's very we're in a mess because maybe we should let our children fall on their faces sometimes. Like everybody doesn't always need a trophy, right?
Exactly.
There's first, second, and third, and sometimes you can't be what you want to be because maybe you don't have the physical strength, or you were born with a lazy left eye, or something like that. You can't be that person or that thing you want to be.
Yeah.
So we tend to tell people you can be anything you want to be. Well, I can't be anything I want to be. I cannot be, a gymnast when I'm.
Yeah. There are certain professions that have like height requirements, weight requirements, things like that. Like to be an Air Force pilot, you can't be of a certain size. You have to be in a certain bracket. You can't be too short or you can't be too tall. You can't weigh too much. You have to be enough that you're going to fit in the cockpit comfortably and actually be able to do everything. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but we always tell everybody we can be anything, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I was a kid, it was. I remember the Olympics came to. I grew up in LA, and then
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like the '84 Olympics, I
Yep.
think, came in, and there was a big write up in the newspaper about a girl who couldn't be in some part of the show because she was too tall. Because they wanted all the girls to be similar size, and
Yeah, yeah.
so that was a big thing back then. And I think now we're just always, back then that was still okay to kind of do that.
Yeah.
Now you do that and you're in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's interesting. See, oh man. Yeah, the question is, does God let these things happen, like our society drift in that direction for a reason? You know what I mean? Is it leading to something different, or you know what I mean? You know how like all I've talked to Dad, and I probably mentioned this with Corey. Like these civilizations rise and fall, and maybe he needs it to happen for like a certain reason. It's the same reason I was talking about with Dad, like a tree falls in the woods, right? The tree gets too big, it gets too old, it has to fall over so it makes more room for new growth. You know what I mean, or something like that. So I don't know if like these things happen in a much larger you know plan that's moving forward. That's how I like to look at it. I like to think this is a direct result of how civilizations work. We get too comfortable, we get too complacent because everything's just provided for us. You know what I mean? Like food, like is
Are the
fairly
opposite
abundant.
are the opposite.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
It's
When it's the opposite, you grow really strong, right?
well, no, I mean, think about what um societies. It's like you were talking about Marie Antoinette, and
Yeah.
she's not let them eat cake, right? So she's not in touch. But when people don't have food and they don't have freedom,
Yeah.
that's when they rise up.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, are we maybe the Christian population is starting to get a heads up right now about, being, we're the only, Christians are the only ones that it's okay to hate still.
Yeah, yeah, that's
You
for sure.
can't say anything negative about, Muslims or Jewish people or, well,
Yeah.
kind of Jewish people, because,
Yeah.
but, you can say negative things and hurtful things about
Yeah.
Christians, or you can try to exclude Christians from places and things like that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
But
Christian
but not Muslims, not anybody else. No other
Christians,
religions, no other
Christians
cultures.
and white men.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay to bash on.
Yeah. That's really funny. I've seen a couple of videos where they specifically start off with that. Oh, is religion good or bad? You know what I mean? They say, oh, it's bad. And he says, oh, well, what about Muslims? You know what I mean? They're like, oh, no, I love Muslims. I love Muslims. And he says, oh, well, what about Jewish people? Oh, yeah, we love Jewish people. Blah blah blah. And so what about Christians? Oh, no, Christians bad. You know what I mean? Like it's really funny to see them go through that. Like they're everybody else is okay, but not Christians. And
Yeah.
it's so funny. I see all these weird things where people like talk about like Christians like going to war or something like that, and like I'm like, when has that ever happened in history? And a lot of people try to point out the Crusades, and I'm like, the Crusades had nothing to do with Christianity. It has to do with Europe being allied with Israel. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That was it. Europe was allied with Israel,
But they
and
were
Europe
also
sent them.
starting Europe. They were trying to um, push the King's Bible then.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah.
and change and what is it? What
I
is
mean,
it?
the Pope was involved
Something
in
the
getting together
Lionheart.
the
What?
Crusaders and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I understand that, but they weren't going there because they were trying to kill off somebody of a different religion and
But
tell
in the
them
Bible, I
they
mean,
couldn't.
I guess they're not technically Christians then,
Mhm.
because the Israelites go in and wipe out the whole area, you know?
Yeah.
So God sends them in and then he punishes them for not killing everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Because he told
Strange
them
and
that,
interesting, huh?
yeah. So there, I mean, I don't know. I don't see that. I don't know where Christians have started the wars. I think lately, you know, it's the Palestinians and the, you know, people starting wars, but in the name of their nations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I say. I say it's nation based stuff. It's culture based stuff. It's not they're not the war is not because of religion. The war is because of other things. And then, like you have atheists that say it's because of religious things. You know what I mean? And I don't know, whatever. You can make an argument that, your culture is tied to your religion or something like that, but that's not the excuse that people give forth when they do it. But anyway. And I think that's once again that all goes back to just part of how these cultures grow, expand, and eventually they collapse in on themselves, like the Roman Empire.
Well, I think they said, I heard that the longest nation was 200 years, and we're coming up on 250 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, the Chinese, obviously, the Chinese have had a nation that's lasted a really long time, obviously, much longer than 200 years. But what they have is they have dynasties that go up,
well, that's
and
what
then the
I'm saying.
dynasty crashes. And
Yeah,
then,
that's
so
what I'm
that's
saying.
basically the fall of an empire, despite the people outlasting and making a new empire afterwards. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like the French and the
Like,
English
how
have been
long was
around.
the dinosaur around for?
How much what?
How long was the dinosaur around for?
I don't want to get. I don't want to start talking about creationism.
No, I wasn't. I was just
Yeah.
giving you another,
Yeah.
thought to think of, because I know
Yeah.
you love thinking about weird things.
Yeah, me and Dad have discussed talking about creationism here on the podcast, and it's like I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of arguing with atheists because it's all their arguments are exactly the same. They never come up with anything new. They never come up with anything interesting. They
I
never
don't think I've ever met an atheist.
really.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe when I was younger, we didn't like discuss religion and stuff. Like my best
Okay.
friend Janice,
Yeah.
she she will not discuss religion or politics.
Okay.
So, so where does she stand? I'm not quite sure. But sometimes she'll make a comment one way or another, but for the most part, she doesn't want to watch news. She
Yeah.
doesn't. So, and then
Oh, that might be like your generation type thing, because my generation with the computers, man, we got a hold of those computers in the early internet, and it was a free for all, man.
oh yeah, like I don't remember being as plugged into the world as Callahan is. It just amazes
Yeah.
me. Or even at your age, I don't even think, I was raising a family and everything. I don't think I remember being as plugged in as we are
Yeah.
now. I mean, you would be plugged into a base like maybe we're plugged into, a bunch of other homeschoolers, but
Yeah.
once we got the internet, you're right. The
Oh
stuff,
man. Yeah.
but once YouTube really got it going, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. I
Because
was I'm so grateful that you guys got a computer as early as you did, because some of those early memories of those first, it was like Tony, remember, Tony, Ed had a computer, and between him and our computer, yeah, it was like,
remember you used to have to dial up.
yeah, we used to have these dial up, and I mean, it was so great just to like explore it back then and just figure out how it worked, figure out things, learn things. It was really, really cool. And like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
when the first Billy, Dad's friend, I do
yeah.
not know if I'm supposed to say last names or not,
No,
but
no, just to go first. Yeah.
Billy, Dad's friend, he
Yeah.
was selling the internet.
Oh, okay.
So he came over and wanted us, and we were just starting to homeschool you, I think.
Yeah.
No, you're probably a little bit farther along, and we were staying at Charlie and Janice's house for the summer because Dad had to work nights.
Yeah.
And so we had just took over 2 bedrooms. You
Yeah.
guys have these little mats on the floor. We had the best summer ever. And we just swam, did gymnastics, and took Adina to therapy. That's all we did all summer long. And he came over and he was selling
Yeah.
the internet, and he was telling me, oh, you can find all these homeschooling things on there. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, how do I find them? Like, I thought he was just gonna take me someplace. He goes, no, you have to find it out there.
Yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I'm like?
Yeah.
But you were able to learn it really quick.
Yeah.
I remember you had this Eric Spider-Man page. I wonder if it still exists. It was all these black and white drawings, and he would let you download them and you could color them. And
that's cool.
so you used to download them for you and Adina and Amy would do it, and stuff like that. And then
I remember there were like a bunch of like learning programs. Like we could like it had like a 3D like human body, and you could like click on the heart, and the heart would come out, and there'd be like a 3D image of the heart, and then you could like see like how it worked or something like that. I remember something like that. It was
they
really
were
cool.
these discs that came with the computer, because we bought this educational computer from Sam's Club. Yeah. There's a plug. We bought it from Sam's Club years ago, and it came with these discs, and you'd slide a disc in, and one of them was like all, like you said, the human body. There was one that was all zoo stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then I remember we had this attachment that was a magnifying glass, so you guys could put stuff under it and it would show it on the TV or on there.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool too. So yeah, there were some neat things, but we were probably one of the first families to have a computer, as just a family computer, not something for work or something. And
a personal computer. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was, Charlie was big into that, and Charlie wanted us to have it, and kind of talked Dad into it. I know it was a big amount. I think it was $300. We were dying back then. $300.
Yeah, back then. Yeah, back then that was a lot.
Yeah, but it was great, and it was you and Amy didn't get on it as much, but you and Adina really did that. Really liked that kind of stuff, and Amy too a little bit. But then we got you math games and all that, because you hated math, so we got you this math game.
I remember them,
and you hated the game too.
Yeah,
It would make you play.
I still can't stand math. I can't stand math.
KT's the same way. He's as brilliant as he is. He can't stand math.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody. I loved my math teacher too.
Yeah.
Like my junior high math teacher, I feel so bad. His name was Mr. Connor, I think.
The other thing, and this is part of that, like society like collapsing kind of, it's like they've changed the order of operations from when we were kids to how they are now with kids. And so they're like, when they do times versus when they do the in parentheses versus when they do the addition, it's different than how we learned. It's straight up different.
Really? Because it's still the same in when I was helping Callahan 2 years ago in algebra. So, but
Okay.
I think it's changed in like different depending on what you or like if it's scientific versus maybe building.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
That's what I think it is, because I do see it online where someone will put out a problem and everybody's like, no, it's this, it's this, it's this,
nobody can agree.
Depending on which version you use, but some people are just stupid and they just want to go straight ahead. They didn't ever learn the algebra.
But doesn't that sound like the biblical story of Babel? It's basically people can't communicate anymore and they can't agree on anything because the civilization has grown too big, right? So.
But don't you think maybe it's people from other countries, maybe? So they're not really
well, at this point in time, our whole world is basically one civilization. I mean, I get that, but everything, all the civilizations are so connected that they might as well be one. You know what I mean? But think about just in the United States, though. West Coast versus here we are in the Midwest, right?
What a shock, huh?
When we first moved here, and I was working at the movie theater, and I went in to talk to people. Um, I was talking, and people had to stop me and say, "Huh? What did you just say? You know, like what was that word? Or what do you mean by that? You know what I mean? Because I was using different words that they do not use here. Like and it's funny. The last time we went to California, I saw some graffiti, and the graffiti had words that I used to use back in California that they don't use here. And I'm like,
I
oh, I was right. Like that is a word that people use. You know?
Yeah, I remember someone got on her for using you guys.
Oh, you guys, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
What would
yeah,
she was helping somebody. What would you guys like? We're not guys. You're
yeah,
supposed to say y'all. What would y'all like?
yeah. It,
And then the first time that it actually came out of our mouths were like naturally, like the first
yeah.
time I said y'all, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, because you can't say guy because your brain's going, not guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then oh, I was just thinking of
And then the
another.
way they call everybody Miss,
Yeah,
like,
miss,
because to me,
sir, because in California, sir was an insult, right? You don't say sir to someone unless you're calling them an old man on purpose.
well, no, you would say sir to your friends' parents, especially the ones you were first meeting. You wouldn't say it to
Maybe when I was really young.
you. No,
By the time I was a teenager, I understood sir was an insult.
you say think sir is a insult.
Sir, oh yeah, sir is how if somebody calls me sir, I do not like it. I do not like it. I hate it. I think that they're calling me an old man.
So what do you want them to call you if they don't know your name? Hey, dude.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Dude.
Hey man, how's it going? Yeah, 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 something
No.
like that. Man
No,
is fine.
especially if they're addressing you like they're trying to help you. Okay, so you're at Walmart and you ask somebody a question and then they
Oh,
go,
don't even say anything. Just. Oh, actually, I'd prefer them not to help me, but
but no, you
Yeah,
ask them to help you. You're like, hey, I'm looking for this, and they're like, okay, let me find out.
Oh,
And they
don't
go
don't.
walk. Wait,
Okay.
they walk away and they come back and they, hey, sir, I found that. That's an insult.
I mean, I'm not gonna jump down the guy's throat, but in general, I
No,
still don't like it.
no, I think that they should call you sir, especially in a service industry. They need to
Yeah.
call the men sir, and the woman can be Miss
Or
or
ma'am.
Mrs. or ma'am if they're older. Only if they're older could they be ma'am. I can now be called a ma'am.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But it just cracks me up when I first got here and everybody like you called my friends once they were my friends by their first name.
Yeah.
Janice
Yeah.
or
Angela.
Angela. Yeah, you would call them by their first names. And here, when we got here, all the adults wanted to be called Miss so and so, Miss so and so. The parents, you know what I mean? So when Amy first met somebody's parents, and then later on, she asked them a question, they would tell her, "You're supposed to address me by Miss Sally."
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Or Dina, Miss. You're supposed to call people Miss, and
Yeah, yeah.
and that was at church and at their houses. So that was an awakening for us, because to me, Miss means somebody young, not a parent.
Okay.
Because you're either Miss Rita and you're not married, or you're Mrs. Schumacher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So those are your choices, not Miss Rita all the time when I'm 90, but that's how it is out here.
Yeah, yeah. I got you.
Raised differently, you know.
Yeah,
So,
definitely raised different. Yeah, the computer thing, yeah, not everybody here grew up with a computer as young as we did. That's that's for
I
sure.
just think that a lot of people, because Charlie was so invested, like his job required computers
Yeah.
all the time. That's
Yeah.
what he did. So he made sure our he was pushing us to have a
He
computer.
kept it up to date too.
And he kept it up to date. And I remember when you got your first computer, he helped you build it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
bought the
Him and Dad
components.
put it together.
And you
yeah,
got
yeah,
the
yeah.
soundboard you wanted. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? So that
And
And if-
for the time, it was like
So it really
absolutely
was,
top of the line.
yeah. And for us, you know, that probably wouldn't have been a priority,
Yeah.
except for that Charlie told us it needed to be a priority
Yeah,
for you
yeah,
guys. And luckily we were able to do it. And so
yeah.
it was, you know, Teresa, and I think Ruth also very not too far behind us
Yeah.
had one. So I think that was his big push, and all you guys turned out,
Yeah.
except for now it's exploded, and it's just like, oh,
Well, now
like
now
even
it's
us talking here.
yeah. Well, it's different in a way too. Is they've gotten to a point where they're going to be like the car. You know how like back in the past people used to be able to work on cars like basically by themselves because they knew
Yeah.
it and because it was simpler. And even I used to be able to work on my car when I was like a teenager and everything like that. When I got my first car, I did a lot of stuff on that car by myself, right?
Well, you and Dad.
Yeah. But the point is now I can't even touch my cars. My cars they got too much stuff in them. They're too advanced. There's no
Because you got
room.
to hook it up to a computer for so to
Gotta
tell
hook
you
it-
what
yeah.
is wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take this instance to just brag about my son. He is a guy of many talents.
The problem.
When he was only about 20 or 21, he dropped an engine into his Jeep. Yeah, so he does he learns and learns quickly. And then he one time I'm just going to go down the list of the things you've done.
No, this isn't it. Hold on.
He's going one time he built a kayak out of little pieces of wood. He bought this pattern,
About
and
the
it
plan, yeah.
and he cut these pieces of wood, and then he tied them together, and he glued it, and then he put epoxy on it and sanded, put epoxy on it, sanded, put epoxy. It was the neatest looking thing I ever saw.
It didn't turn out as good as I wanted it. I mean, it was okay. I really wanted it to be better than it ended up being. I actually built that design myself. I used a program to build that the design of the.
The only thing
boat,
it was kind of long. That was the only thing. It took up our whole garage, and we had an extended garage at that time.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have fit in a normal garage.
Yeah. I was trying to build it. I was trying to build it to be able to do like longer trips. So it was meant to be like a
you
a
wanted to
long,
go camping with it. You were going to camp, go down the river, camp, go down the river, camp.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was supposed
He's
to be like,
done a lot of things. He's very good at a lot of stuff.
Well, here's the problem. This goes back to how you raised me, I guess, but it might be just my personality too. I may be a jack of all trades, but I am certainly a master of none. There is nothing holds my attention long enough that I can go from becoming, like a novice to an expert. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
I can
one
get
time
good
you
at
told me,
something.
one time you told me when you were, he also took ballet. Okay, let's just
I
say
took
it.
dance.
He-
We took acting. We took we took dance.
He was very good at, you know, not professional, but he was good for his age. And
we had Nolan from the Sacramento Ballet Company teach classes to me, right?
yes,
And so
Nolan's the one that had said how good you were for, like, you were dancing with kids that had been dancing for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And so Nolan had told us how good you were, and that you needed to commit to Miss Lori for a year.
Yeah.
And then he would consider you for Sacramento Ballet Company.
Yeah.
And your reaction to that was, when you went home, is like, you don't know, because everybody's always telling you you're very good at everything.
Yeah.
So nothing came hard enough that you had to work at it.
Yeah.
So, the very first time you auditioned, you get not the lead, but the one of the main characters.
I would almost in all the plays I would end up being the second star, right? So in Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, I was Huckleberry Finn. I wasn't Tom Sawyer. In Beauty and the Beast, I was Gaston. I wasn't the Beast. Yeah.
But you got the character.
Yeah,
the fun character.
that's true.
So you're not the prince who wants to be the prince,
Yeah, yeah,
or you're not the beast, but you're Gaston, who's
yeah.
fun, everybody just gets a kick out of Gaston, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and in Annie, you were that dancing butler.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
So who do you want to be? You don't want to be Daddy
Yeah.
Warbucks.
So
You had the role you needed to be. And when you were Huck Finn, who were you?
no,
you're
yeah, Huckleberry Finn. Yeah,
so when you're Huck Finn, that was the character.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you guys dyed
You know,
my hair all orange and everything like that. That
he
was
gets
crazy.
you're the character. You're the fun one that everybody's laughing at, and you got to
Yeah.
actually do a little silly acting.
But here, let me try to dig a little deeper into this, where I the master of none. So what happens is, a lot of times when I discover a median, so say like guitar playing or something like that, because I play guitar, right? I discover quickly. I want to know how it actually works, right? I don't want to take the time to slowly go through it. I want to figure out what makes it tick, right? So I investigate into that, and once I figure out what makes it tick, I don't want to then go through the process of becoming the master. The master takes 10,000 hours, right? But I know how to become the master. I just don't want to do it because I don't want to invest the time, or I don't want to, go through the process of actually
Yeah.
having to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of lazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like today's people. Like if you think about it, like what do they call it? The greatest generation, the World
Yeah,
War II people.
yes.
They worked at something and they started learning it at a very young age, sometimes farming, sometimes, drafting, whatever.
Yeah.
And they stayed at that. Most people stay at that job for forever and ever and ever. Nowadays, they say most people will have three careers. And I'm a perfect
Oh, that's
example.
like your generation. My generation is like 10 careers.
Yeah, but that's that's talking about not just changing jobs or changing, who you work for. Like I'm totally that person, right? What am I doing now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's fun, but but how do you get better? Or how do you get the greatest minds doing the greatest things? Because people.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
Can you imagine how smart some of these people are that that invent things and make things and do things for our world? You think we could find better leaders? Because we know that some of our people out there are so smart, smart. But how come we can't get those people in our leadership positions?
That's a different problem. That has to do with the corruption of the government.
Even
itself.
like Elon Musk, right? Is that Elon Musk that was doing the Doge thing?
Yeah.
How smart has he got to be?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
How smart has he got to be? Because he's got successful cars, and then he's got a space program, and then he has enough pull to get these brilliant minds to come in there and what was it, 30 or 60 days, and just know how to write programs that find things, or that write programs so that we can interlock with each other, or other, the FBI can interlock with so and so. But anyways, those minds are the ones we need. And instead, they end up, working for some company that's going to pay him billions of dollars. Don't get me wrong. They're going to pay him billions of dollars. But those are the people we need running our government. Those smart accountants, those smart people that can figure things out.
Yeah, well, like I said, the problem is how corrupt it is. Like I've tried to tell you and Dad, and me and Dad got into a little kerfuffle on one of the episodes about like police. Your local police are just as corrupt as the people in the Pentagon, as just as corrupt as the people in Washington D.C. Absolutely, I mean like 100%. Out of 50 cops that I know one good cop, and I know 49 bad cops.
That's not.
It is true. It is true.
Well,
The problem is the way that is the way that they're taught. So it actually comes from up above. It's the same thing with it's the same way with the government is. It's already been established that there's a system, and it's already the system itself is already corrupt. So as new politicians come in, they're just plugged into what's already going on. You can't change it because the system itself has already been, it's already grown into its own thing, and it defends itself.
It's this blob rolling down, just sticking everybody to it, right?
Exactly, and and it defends itself. As soon as you try to change it, it's gonna fight back against you.
But I think that could go back to, what we talk about, faith and stuff like that, is not enough Christians standing up in those positions.
Yeah.
Because I do think that they're
not allowed in. They're not allowed in.
I know, that's what we talked about earlier, is but now there are some Christians in some major spots.
Yeah, they're getting in there.
Like on President Trump's councils, there's a couple Christians and stuff like that. So that's where it's got to start, is we got to be grassroots coming in to our local governments, to our local police. We've got to grow our kids in a faith that they can stand up. And if they choose not to stand up, then that's on them.
Yeah.
But at some point, somebody's got to stand up and say, I'm not going to do this job if it entails blah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why there are no good cops, is because the good cops get there, they see what's going on, and they see that all the bad cops are at the top. As soon as they try to say something that, oh, hey, what you guys are doing is wrong, they're gone. They get fired, you know what I mean? Or they leave ahead of time. They leave and they, when I went into the academy, one of the first statistic they said basically, look around this room, if every single one of you pass, only 5% of us, or 5% of you will remain after 3 years. The rest of you will all be gone. There will not be cops anymore, because and now they didn't say this next part. The next part is my interpretation, is because the good cops, all these people come in with good intentions, wanting to change. Everybody says it. All those people that come in to the academy, they're all like, oh, I want to make a difference. I want to help the community. I want to be, I want to be a good, upstanding citizen in the community. I want to help people, right? The reason they all leave is because that's not what the system is designed to do. The police system is designed to find criminals, and if there are no criminals, they make criminals. That's what the system is designed to do. And I used to be a cop. I was a cop for 3 years. I know.
Bitter grapes.
So it is what it is. I think it's all part of it. So yeah, as you're moving forward in this world, you got to have some faith. You got to have some trust. This goes all the way back to the beginning. See how it's all connected? We got it all connected. Good. I like it when conversations do that, where you go off and then you come back around to it.
Yeah, because we've been off on a tangent.
Yeah, but we did come back to it though. You have faith in God, that God knows what He's doing and that He's controlling and guiding us all.
But it's unseen, because we're not seeing what God is doing until we get past it, right? Then we look back. Oh, that was kind of awesome what God did there.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know.
Did you think I would be alive this long? As long as I'm alive?
Yeah, I did.
You did, huh?
I did. I know you had problems, but we always. I can't speak for everybody else in the family, but I always had faith you were gonna make it. I know it was tough and it was rough. See, your being sick when you were sick, affected the girls a lot more than it affected me.
Because you ran away.
No, oh my God. I was a teenager. It was my time to get out into the world, and so I was getting out into the world.
You ran away.
That's not.
You went to my first surgery.
Uh-huh.
had a panic attack because it didn't go well.
A panic attack?
Yeah, not a panic attack like
Okay,
couldn't breathe,
okay,
but
okay.
you were panicking. You kept on making Dad. You were like worried, and Dad, go ask him. Dad, go ask him. And finally, he did because he wouldn't at first, and then you had to leave.
Oh, okay. All right.
Probably about a month after that, you're like, okay, I gotta go. See ya.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive.
Well,
But you did go.
That's another thing.
After that, you wouldn't go anywhere with me.
Well, I mean, it's another thing. When we talk about this is something interesting that I kind of wanted to talk to you about is when you look back at your kids, how well do you think you actually know us? You know what I mean? Because
I
how
thought
much in our, because you guys were active in our lives, right? And we've always kept in touch, and we always knew what each other was doing. It's not like we ever went away and you didn't know where I was. You always knew where I was, and generally what I was doing. But all those experiences that I have when I'm out in the world and not back at home, you know what I mean? How much do they affect me? How much do they change who I am? And then how much of it was of my personality today was you raising me? You brought up the great story at the beginning, which definitely affected me. You know,
which was what?
the one about the punishing when
Yeah.
if I were to do something against the girls or something, I would have to make it up to them somehow by doing an actual act of service of some kind. So yeah. How well, you know what I mean,
You
over
see, I
time.
always thought that I knew you.
Yeah.
I thought I could see in your heart. I could tell when you were lying.
Yeah,
How do you know when I'm
you guys
lying?
are great. You guys are like mind readers sometimes. There was sometimes you and Dad, I'm like, there ain't no way they know I'm lying. There ain't no way. I was like,
You had a tell. And we didn't tell you your tell until you were about 15.
Yeah. I sit there and I know there were times where I was sitting there, I was thinking, there's no way they know. There's no way. Somehow you guys knew.
Because you always sucked in your cheeks.
Yeah.
You bite on your cheeks.
There you go.
And that was your tell. You'd bite on your cheeks.
That's funny.
So, yeah. So, Amy, I don't know if you know, I was sick with her when she was an infant.
Oh, I do know a little bit about that. Not a whole lot, but yes.
Yeah. So I was very sick there for for like the first 6 months of her life. So that would, so maybe she was she was Dad's. You are my son. That was his. But anyways, growing up, Amy, I thought we were friends. I started working when she was like in the second grade. But as a teenager, I realized I didn't know anything about her.
Well, she was the middle child, and she was rebellious.
Well,
sure.
Yeah, but she's the middle child, but I was the middle child. That's why I always made sure she had what she needed. Like she had dance classes. She had dance classes we couldn't afford for as long as she wanted them. And then she had, whatever, I remember we used to clean house and then she got to pick where we go for lunch on Saturdays,
Okay. Yeah.
And Adina, I think, she was attached to me. She was, mini me for a long time. And then as she got older, she didn't want to be away from me. She told me once she was very jealous when I started the daycare. And so that's because she needed to move on and I needed to step back. And it was very, very hard on both of us. But I think, and I always thought, if I was going to school and I was the same age as them, would they be my friends? And I always thought you would be my friend.
Probably.
Yeah. We would be friends. I don't know about the girls, but me and you would be friends. And
That's
even
funny.
as a young kid, you were always, friendly and always, even now, you're the one that's here more. That's we kind of talk to more.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like I said, I think
And
I said,
maybe it's because girls are
or what?
more secretive.
Oh, more secretive. Well, what happened was at a certain point in time, um, I started to come to terms with more of you and dad having your own personalities, um separate from being my parents. You know what I mean? Cuz when I look at you as my parents, or how I used to look at you as my parents, is that's it. I didn't see the Rita and the Phil behind the parent. I didn't see Phil behind dad. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I didn't see Rita behind mom. And then as I got older, I'm like, I know now why she does certain things. It's because she's Rita. It's her personality. That's who she is. That's mom. And so now I know. I think not. I mean, obviously, not everybody knows everybody perfectly, obviously, but
Yeah, because
I
men's fall.
huh. But
Just like you said, because you can't trust, you don't know everybody perfectly.
you don't know them perfectly, but I start to see the evidence. Well, it's the same reason.
We're
That's what
going
I'm
back.
saying. I
We're
see
going
I see
back.
the evidence, and that's what I see out in the world when I see God. It's like okay, at first, and this is what the atheists do too. The atheists look at the world and they see the world, right? They don't see that layer that's behind the world, that makes the world function,
Yeah, because
right?
like who knew that that little squirrel needed that acorn?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Or even deeper ideas, you know what I mean? Like we call this thing a table, right? But like in your mind, can you picture other tables? What's the ultimate table look like? I might be getting a little too deep
but
here, but
do you remember that we did that
oh yeah.
one time? We used to do homeschooling, and it was mostly for you because you wanted to write, but you had a harder time, and so it was journaling. It was a nature journal or a journal of some kind of thing. So the very beginning first lesson was, you know, you have to come with a tree. You have to come to class with a tree.
Okay.
So you could write the tree, you could draw the tree, and the in the teacher who taught it, one time she said someone actually brought a branch, but what is a tree? So
Okay.
everybody draws a tree, right?
Yeah.
Do we all draw the same tree?
No.
Right, same
Yeah.
thing like a table. But also, then the other part is y'all sit by a tree, y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
Sit by a tree, around it or whatever, and everybody draws the tree in front of them.
Yeah.
Does anybody draw the same tree?
No, because they all see it from different perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that
Life.
great? I love
Yeah.
it. That's so good. I'm
See?
so glad you guys taught me that kind of stuff. Yeah, and and see that's what.
That's what homeschooling does.
Yeah, we've mentioned it before. We've talked to each other before about this kind of stuff. You always think that you raised us to be Christians, right? But I'd say you don't. You didn't raise us to be Christians. You raised us to think critically and to really like observe the world around us. You know what I mean? And use our brains to figure things out. That's what I feel.
I think I was raised quite different than I raised you.
Yeah.
So I was raised in a single family home
Uh huh.
where we didn't go to church. We were sent to church at different times. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We were raised Catholic mostly. Went to a Catholic church down the road. I would walk to it when I was about in the 8th grade. And about probably the last time I went, I would go with my grandma sometimes when I was in high school age. Um, but we trusted God.
Yeah.
Like we sometimes didn't have money for whatever a certain need. We
Yeah.
were always praying. We prayed before we went to bed. We prayed before dinner. It wasn't a lack of faith. It was a lack of knowing how to. We never read a Bible. It was just that basic faith in God
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that we were taught. So with you guys, I wanted you to I remember saying when I was very young, 13 years old, 14 years old, I was going to marry a Christian man.
Yeah.
So I knew I wanted you guys to be Christians
Yeah. Yeah.
with that faith, but with more expertise than I had because I met as I got older.
Yeah.
I worked for Mervyn's. There's so many nice Christian people there. And it kind of taught me what it was to be a Christian because before I wanted to say I was a Christian because I believed in Christ,
Hmm.
which, I've heard people say, but I didn't know about reading the Bible, about studying, about how to go to church, about, listening to a sermon and taking it in and then trying to act on it. So for you guys, I wanted you to learn, first of all, people are different and it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay to be different than somebody.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, who's to judge me for my childhood because I didn't know how to be a Christian? You know what I mean? I was called myself. I knew I was going to be. I was a Christian. I
Yeah. Yeah.
knew I believed in God. I knew I was saved and going to heaven at a very young age. But I didn't. No one had ever taught me how to study, or that you're even supposed to study the Bible. You know,
Uh-huh.
get the little pamphlets. You read them. Okay. You know, so that's kind of what I wanted you guys to know is that look at we're just here and we need to do the best we can with what we've got. We need to have a support system with each other, and we just need to. I don't even remember if Adina. Everybody had a job. Everybody had a job. Taking
Yeah.
care of Adina. You know what I mean? We all had our little.
Yeah.
We call it.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. I do remember. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, that last lesson I think definitely got across, which was that, um, yeah, do the best with what we have. Yeah, I think that message I've always had, from I was very young. But the other one though, the other one about us being that everybody's different. Yeah, that one I don't know if that hit, man. I don't know if you guys ever got us to get that one
You know,
because it took me a long, long time to realize how different people really are. It probably wasn't until I was out of the army before I realized. Because even the army, even though people were different, they force you all to kind of be the same.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't really like the army was a big old shock for me, right? I mean, it was a massive shock when I got out. I was so exhausted. I don't know if you remember. I came home to the house in Centerton, and I was like passed out for like 3 or 4 days or something like that. Like, yeah, I was so tired. Just 2 years worth of just like not sleeping. Anyways, the point is though, it wasn't until after that I finally something started clicking with the fact that people are um can be so radically different in the way that they interact with each other and the way they think. Like I told you before, I didn't realize not everybody has an inner monologue. So me and Dad have an inner monologue, right? But you have something different. You said you don't hear your voice in your head, right? You see pictures or words or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like even as I'm going down the road, if I see something, I'll try to like spell it out.
Mm. Yeah, it's really
I don't hear
interesting.
my voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
But my
mine's
best thoughts come when I'm asleep.
yeah, 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 yeah. For sure, for sure. That's an interesting thing too with when I talked with Dad about, especially when it comes to ideas of like heaven and everything like that. And when I dream, my dreams are sometimes crazy vivid. I mean, like very intensely vivid. Like I am seeing like a whole different world with crazy things happening. But the thing is the things still um maintain their canon within their own world, if that makes sense. So everything still makes sense as it is inside the dream, right? And it's when I see things like that, I picture basically heaven as as being like a dream. You know what I mean? Almost, you know what I mean? That you're forever in that place where, you, I mean, like sometimes you have control. Sometimes I have control of my dreams. Not always. Not always. It might be kind of rare, but once I realize I'm in the dream, all of a sudden I gain control of it.
Yeah, I do too of my dreams.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
and
I want to go over here and see what's happening.
yeah,
You know, but
yeah,
yeah,
and
it's always funny because I dream sometimes of like my brother.
yeah,
He never talks.
oh,
Every time see him, my mom the same way.
yeah,
They never talk,
yeah,
but kind of weird. But
yeah. It's really, yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know. Anyways, we've been talking for a while, hour and 15 minutes.
oh wow,
Yeah, isn't it funny how it goes by really fast?
yeah. But we didn't talk about anything I wanted to talk
Oh, what do you
about.
want to talk about?
Well, it's too late now.
No,
So
it's not. I mean, we can keep going as long as you want.
no, no,
Is there
no.
is there anything specific that you're
Yeah,
interested in?
I want to talk about what's wrong with your podcast.
Uh-oh. What's wrong with the
Well, the
podcast?
first one started out with you guys were talking about the reason the reason you speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
so
the
you
first
want
one.
to go over like very specific
Well,
specific
I
ideas.
wanted to take notes, but I forgot them. I
Okay.
forgot my notes. So,
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
sometimes it's like me and dad.
So
But you're
the
right.
the first one you talked about, like why do we speak? Why do we talk about God or whatever?
Yeah.
And the number one reason you both missed it is because God commands us to.
Yeah.
You know,
Allison said the same thing. Yeah.
God commands us to
Yeah,
speak,
yeah.
and so that's number one.
That is a good answer. Yeah.
Okay.
But see, part of the podcast is that's a Christian answer that a Christian would understand
But
for
you were
sure.
talking about our worldview. So, as a
Yeah.
worldview from a Christian point of view, which Dad said,
Yeah.
and is God commands us.
Okay.
We don't speak because we want to convert that person, or we want this, or we want that. We speak because God commands us to.
That's great.
And
Yeah, that's a great
then,
answer.
so we're planting a seed, or we're watering a seed,
Yeah.
and God's doing the work. We're doing nothing.
Yeah.
We're doing nothing except for what is expected of us. So,
Uh-huh.
just like if you went to a job and you were supposed to build a house,
Yeah.
you do it because that's what expected of you. God expects us to speak about him and to
Yeah.
praise him and tell other people about the good works he's done for you.
Now, but then what about like an atheist or an agnostic? Why do they speak? Like why do they go out into public and talk to other people about, whatever they want to talk about?
Because they are sowing the seed of the devil.
No.
Really, you're either for me or you're against me, and so if they're an agnostic or an atheist, then they're against him.
Nah, I mean, I
You're either for me
it's-
or against me. You can't be, but you got to pick a side, dude, left or right.
See, I don't like to look at the world like that. I don't like
I know
yeah.
you don't.
Yeah.
But if you're going
But
biblically,
that
I
but see-
don't. I
oh.
have lots of friends who are not Christians and lots of clients who are not Christians who I dearly love and who are kind and gentle and very loving. And so I don't. But that's the biblical answer, okay?
I don't know. I totally get what you're saying, and I could totally see. Yeah,
Sometimes I just like to
that's-
harass you. That's what I mean by dude,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
It's good. It's really, really good. Yeah. It's just when I read the Bible and I'm reading through it, especially when I read through the Old Testament this last time, I started right at the beginning, Genesis 1:1, and I went through all the way to Daniel, right? And I stopped before I read Daniel because I know Daniel and beyond. And as I read it, it's just I don't see.
How do you get through Numbers? How do you get through some of
those ones are hard, but I mean, but I also look at them as it's part of reading Numbers is why I have this viewpoint. It seems very like uh mathematical. It seems very mathematical as he's going through these things, like where he's telling them, the priests, okay, go check a person if they have a sore, touch it, see what color it turns. Does it turn purple or does it turn white? If it turns this color, you have them go bathe. You know what I
Three
mean? It's,
times,
yeah.
turn around.
When I read that, it sounds like medical advice because they didn't have any medicine back then, right? Or they didn't have a system of medicine like we have today, right? So what he's setting up here is something that's very practical for this world, and it teaches us like when, okay, when something is going wrong, maybe it's with our body or maybe it's around us, like the mold. There's mold examples in Numbers too, where they're talking about the mold in the house, if it's green or if it's black or if it's
Yes,
white.
yes.
And so it seems practical for us to actually live with inside of nature. You get what I'm saying? It's very straightforward, and I don't see this evidence of, once again, just in the Old Testament, because New Testament is completely different. But I don't see in there anywhere where God is concerned about telling them like, okay, if you don't do this stuff, you're going to hell for the rest of eternity and you're going to be punished. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that specific message. What I
Really?
see is,
Even when he destroys Sodom and Gomorrah?
yeah, it's not, it's,
Because like only if one righteous man is alive.
yeah,
One righteous man.
He makes the bargain with him. That's the crazy thing too. He's making a bargain with him, and he's saying,
But
at
God,
first it starts off like 50. He's like, if there's 50, and then he's like, if there's 40, if there's 30, if there's 20, you know, and he gets that God all the way down to like 10, right, or something like that. Some really low number is the point, right? But what that is that's the rot of a society. That's the rot of the tree. As it falls, it's like the tree's not alive. It's not worth it. It doesn't produce any fruits. So the vine of, you know, your garden is not producing grapes, right? It's time to get rid of that one
I
and
don't
make
know.
room for a new
I
vine.
love that vine. I'm not getting rid of it. It's like my Bella. I love her.
Yeah. Your dog is crazy how old she is. Like, and she's in relatively good condition for her age. She's in relatively good condition. You know what I mean? It's crazy how old she is. Yeah, you guys have definitely taken care of her.
But are you going to set me out to pasture when I don't produce enough fruit?
No. I've already told you. You're, you know,
This will be your bedroom.
Oh, no, you got to move into my house.
No,
I'm not moving into your house.
Comfortable. You got to keep your mom comfortable. You said you're going to come here.
Oh, I gotta. Okay. No. But I mean, back to that idea though. It, you know, when I read it, the idea of what happens to the good people is the good people adapt and change their ways. Like the story of Jonah, right? It's like these people hear the message, they get the message that we're heading in a bad direction, and we change.
And what do the other people do?
They don't change. Yeah,
they burn.
Yeah. But the
Sodom and
idea
Gomorrah.
the idea would be that you can always turn around.
Oh yeah. Ed believes you have everybody believes you have until the moment of death, but Ed told me that as soon as you die,
yeah,
God gives you one more chance.
Yeah.
Are you,
it's an interesting idea, but
right at that second of death, then the next second, God is, well, I'm sure it's more than a second because
I mean, it would seem like an eternity for you. It would seem like a different thing once you
and
I'm sure time has no meaning at
and
that
so
point
that kind of I kind of would like to talk to Ed about that. I don't know where that came from, but anyways.
But when you're faced with all of eternity, that's one thing I talked with Dad about is people don't grasp how big the universe really is or how big infinity is. Infinity, like we live in a finite number, but that finite number is like,
oh yeah, because remember I told you I like numbers, and so I used to tell the kids, like, you take this number and doesn't matter, and you can spread it out, and there's that many numbers between it. Now you can take, here's 1, here's 2, right?
Yeah.
We take 1 1.5 and 1.6, and we can spread it out, and there's a million numbers in
In
between it.
between.
So now we take 1.555 and 1.56, and we spread it out,
Yep.
and we keep on doing that for forever.
And people
But-
don't grasp how big that is.
Well, there is a great place in
Uh-huh.
Tulsa.
Yeah.
Is Tulsa, right by the Tulsa airport, and it has those that what do you call it? Like it's like a dome, and you
Yes.
see the stars on it.
Yeah.
But they had a series because it's educating the youth.
Yeah.
And about how long it would take to get outside of our universe. So we're talking,
Oh, yeah.
outside of our universe, and how do we do it? Because the person
It's
inside,
literally impossible.
well, no,
you have-
isn't impossible. The person inside the spacecraft, right,
Uh-huh.
has to, by the time he's outside of our universe, he's dead, right? Because he's too old.
Yeah.
So man has to live longer, or spacecraft has to go faster, or
Yeah.
is there something in between? Is there a place where you can, almost like a board, kind of freeze your life,
Oh, yeah.
your lifespan, and then reawaken or something?
Yeah.
And
But the
those
problem-
are the questions for people like Elon Musk.
Well, no. Here's the problem, though. On one side of the universe, you have a galaxy that's flying out in that direction, and it's traveling the speed of light, basically in comparison to a galaxy on the other side of the universe that is also going in the opposite direction. If a person left from that galaxy and was trying to make it to that galaxy, he could never do it because he can't break the speed of light. The speed of light prevents him from ever being able to make it because they're
they were
spreading
ju-
apart faster.
I think they're just talking about us getting outside of the Milky Way.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Yeah, that's the
even that-
galaxy.
That
Yeah.
part, because there's
Yeah.
like these planets.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they
yeah.
have, they're numbered.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like Nubla, blah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
anyways,
yeah.
it was the most fantastic thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And we took Callahan and Austin there.
Yeah.
And very, very educational.
So before we lose the idea here, but the original idea was okay. And this goes back to.
How do you remember the original?
Yeah, I know. So God, right? God plays in infinity, right? I mean, even infinity is his creation as well, right? It's like he has no bones about time, right? Why would he limit your soul? You're a child of his, right? Why would he limit it to such a small number? Like, why not give them, 100,000 years
because
to see?
maybe he does, but we don't know.
Yeah,
We don't know
there
the-
you go.
we don't know-
That's it. Maybe he does.
We don't know the potter. We don't know the potter's plan. I love what Callahan told you. You
Yeah.
little piece of clay. But anyway,
I don't like
but
to look at us as pots, though.
No, but there is a maker. Someone,
Yeah.
there's a maker. So I don't want to look at myself as a pot, but you know what I mean. You're not even a pot. You're a piece of clay.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
That's- I like that.
we won't ever know his plan until we're dead, right? Or until we meet him in heaven.
Yeah.
But it's always fun to think about.
Yeah, true. I totally agree with that. That is absolutely 100% true. My thing is I like to look at him as when I reach my highest points of trying to conceptualize God, which I can never get out into words because it's too high. It comes to a place where I'm no longer actually thinking, and I'm kind of just like trying to like reach beyond my own mind. Like it's really hard to do. But when I get to that point, there's basically two options for God. Either he's just a mathematician that lays out the multiple universes that he could possibly make and just makes them all one at a time, just over and over and over again. That's really boring, and it makes him very uninvested in whatever he's doing because he could just do it forever and for eternity. The other option, which I like way, way better, is he's a father, right? So he's our dad, he's our father, and he is, because that's what Jesus calls him. Jesus calls him the Father, right? So we are his children, and he cares for us, and he wants to raise us, and he wants to teach us. And so I think that's a much stronger idea.
And it doesn't it say like he doesn't want any to perish, right?
Yeah.
So just think. Well,
Now,
I mean, this
I understand.
this doesn't have to do
Oh,
with
yeah.
what you're thinking, and I think that what you're trying to reach this thing is just you don't need to go there. You know what I mean? Bring it down, son. Bring it down. You just need to be invested in the Word. But just think how much you love James.
Yeah.
My whole heart. That boy. Oh my God. How amazing. Like sometimes I think about you or even I was thinking about Amy. It was her birthday, so I was thinking about her. And I can feel it. I can feel it. You know what I mean? You physically feel it in your heart. God loves you 100 times more.
Yeah.
So of course he doesn't want any to perish. So he's going to give you every chance you can. Every chance you can. So
Instead
maybe
of
there
giving
is.
Instead of giving chances, so talking about James, I
I'm
don't
not
give.
okay. I'm using chance the wrong way.
Okay.
He's going to nudge you in the right direction
Yeah.
as many times as he can.
Yeah.
But he knows that he knows ahead of time who's going to choose him and who's not. So that is the part that's hard for me. Because
that makes sense, though. That's a good answer.
So is there predestiny? Is there not? You know, there's all these things that people smarter than me must think about. And maybe that's stuff that you like to think about. But I really think sometimes you need to stop thinking up here and just bring it down a little bit.
I don't do it all the time. I'm just saying when I do it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I tell you shouldn't think so much. You need to pray more, right? And you tell me, well, when you're thinking, you're praying, right?
Yeah. I mean, they kind of become one. Well, one thing is, I think praying is wrong when all you're doing is just asking him for stuff.
Well, you're not supposed to. It's supposed to be a sandwich, right? Just like you're supposed to do with your kid.
Yeah.
James, you hit that ball so good.
Yeah.
The next time, run to first base.
Yeah.
Man, that was a great hit.
Yeah.
You know? So you can thank him.
Yeah,
I think there in my Bible study, there was something that they gave us that kind of sandwiched it in. And it was like, kind of like praise, thank, ask, or something like that. And it was, and I kind of didn't get it at first because some of the terminology they were using wasn't the terminology I would have used. And then once we kind of, clicked the terminology, but it was something like that. It's like, thank you God for James.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for his great smile. Thank you for his witty attitude. Thank. There should be so much more to thank for than ask for, right?
Yeah.
What do we need?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Especially us as Americans, right?
Yeah. Well, so that's what I'm saying. When I am doing that, when I'm doing that kind of, it's not meditation in the same way where like people sit cross-legged or anything like that.
No, I get it.
It's not that.
I get it.
What it is
you're meditating on the Lord.
Yeah, I'm
or on His world or
I'm
whatever.
I'm thinking about aspects about it and everything. And like I said, it's the closest thing I can think of to actually praying, as opposed to just in my mind asking God for stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't find that type of praying very. I guess not much comes of it. I don't get a lot of closure or completion with it. But when I am thinking, that's when I get. And like I said, I don't do it all the time because it is exhausting.
You need to be praying for people though, especially pray for your sister, pray for Allison, their health.
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of
that
stuff.
that
Yeah, that's not that.
Yeah.
And it really says we should pray for our leaders. And that means all of our leaders, including the police. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course. So
those people that we don't agree with, and those are even more important to pray for. But anyways, maybe we better wrap it up now. But I'm going to tell you, I want to say something before I leave. I want to thank my math teacher in high school. He was a Christian man. They ran the Christian kid
Yeah.
thing there. And anyways, him, my high school track coach, and all those people at Mervin's who helped me learn, taught me about God.
Very
Thank you.
good. All right, then. I guess we'll call it a
And
wrap.
you, my son.
All right. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, it was an interesting one. No, it was really good.
Too long. I thought it would be a lot shorter, guys. Sorry.
But if you guys enjoyed it and you guys are still sticking around, give us a like, a comment, and subscribe. All right. Thanks, guys, very much. Bye.
Did I do too?
You did good. You did great. Oh, that's how they always go.
Wrong! They're wrong!